If you have a Japanese maple tree in your garden, or perhaps several, many of the grafted varieties will produce seeds. And for example, I'm standing right beneath an Acer palmatum oakgami. It's very similar to the bloodgood, although it does have a very deep red leaf that evolves into more of an olive green in the summer and then back to a crimson red fall coloring. On this particular tree, you'll notice the nice tiny seeds. Now, what will happen? These seeds will mature throughout the summer. Early fall, they will drop and fall on the ground. Many people choose to pick them up and store them and then propagate them in the early winter. Now, there's many videos on how to propagate seeds, but what we do is we just wait until the following spring when we see the young seedlings that have already popped up out of the ground. So we'll always pot up a few of them and raise them as very young seedlings. Now, with the seedling variety, of course, you're not getting a clone of the grafted specimen, but you're getting a beautiful seedling Japanese maple tree. Now, often these seedlings will not give you quite the same leaf form or coloration. Your tree may grow taller or not as tall as expected. You may not get the exact fall coloring that the specific variety would normally give you. In the end, you still get a beautiful Japanese maple. Now I'll pot some of these up here, show you how we do it, and then I'll show you some of our much older seedlings, and I'll explain what varieties they've fallen off of and how they've really developed into beautiful cultivators over the years. Here we go. So I take a tiny trowel. Now you can see the seedling, very fragile. I'll just go about an inch or 2.5 centimeters away. I'll dig down, and here it is. So I haven't upset the root structure whatsoever. I'll take my little pot, I've got some of our potting soil mixed up. This is the same soil we'll use for larger pots, although with this mix I won't add the coarser mulch. It'll just be a fine mulch with a bit of sand and soil. Now I've placed it in the pot. That's actually not enough soil in there, so I'll take that back out. I'll add a little more soil to the base. I don't really want to apply any pressure onto the seedling. Now I'll just pack some more dirt around. And presto, we have our young seedling potted. Let's pot one more. So same idea. I'll just dig down, pull it up. I'll get some soil into the pot. Let's place this tree in the pot. Let's get some soil around it. There we go. There's another one. Now, what we'll do... Oh, I see there's another one there. Let's grab one more. So what we'll do is, once we pot these up, we will set them inside our greenhouse, or if you don't have a greenhouse, set them somewhere where it's protected, of course, from strong winds and intense sunlight. In the greenhouse, we'll always set them against much larger plants so they don't get the direct sun pounding on them all day. And then, of course, keep them away from young children and hyperactive dogs, as they can do a lot of damage. So you get the idea. They're in the pot. They're good to go. Now, as you can see, I've potted up 12 okagamis. There's a cute little sign, so we know exactly what they are. These young trees can stay in this pot for a couple of years, and then we'll repot them into a 1-gallon size. So the key now, of course, keep them in a shaded area or minimal sunlight. Don't expose them to a windy area. Just give them that extra protection. We'll water them, of course, every morning, just the way we water all the other trees. And we'll end up with a nice collection of young seedling okagamis. You can see the green ones that I potted up in the shade. I potted up 6 more of them that were sitting in full sun, and they have been in full sun all spring, so you can right away see the color difference and how they adapt to the amount of sunlight that they receive. So I'll just water these, and then I'll show you some of our older ones. Here we have a seedling from a fire glow. Now this is in its 4th year now, and it's coming into its own form. Very nice. We've done minimal pruning, but we're getting a nice shape, and this will, of course, stay as a container grown specimen as well. We are getting the nice deep reds that the fire glow is known for, with the nice translucent coloration on the back side of the leaf. And each of the previous 3 years we did get that nice crimson fall color. Here's another example of a bloodgood grown from seed or from young shoots, as we always do. You'll notice 1, 2, 3. So we planted 3 seedlings into the same container and repotted into larger containers. Again, this is 7 or 8 years old. Shows all the true coloration, growth habits, and again the beautiful crimson fall colors. Here is one of our oldest seedling varieties. This is about 15 years old now. You may have seen this tree in the past if you've watched some of my other videos. This would be from the very first video we created back in 2020, which was how to prune a Japanese maple, tree number 1. Now, this seedling originated from an Azakazuki. The really nice thing is it is a dwarf upright grower, and it's been true to that. It also has the beautiful green foliage with some nice red coloration on the tips, which what we notice throughout the summer turns to almost an orangey tip, and it maintains that coloration throughout the whole summer, almost a variegated approach, which is something a little bit different from the actual Asakuzuki, and it's very unique in its own way. The fall coloration is a crimson red, but not quite the deep, deep, vibrant colors that the Asakuzuki will give, but in its own way, it's very beautiful also. So we're really pleased with this one. And we also have a twin to that one, which I will set up the camera and show you. And it is somewhat different in coloration characteristics, which you'll see shortly. Here's another seedling that again came from the Asakuzuki, but you'll notice these beautiful, beautiful flushes of the peach growth with the new leaf that comes out. And this one has more of a peach tone throughout the green leaf. Now this one is about 10 years old, but the seed did fall from the same grafted Asakuzuki as the previous tree you just saw. Again, this one is a dwarf upright grower, and again, that's fairly true to the characteristics of the Asakuzuki. But the standout feature with this is the beautiful flushes of coloration every time new leaves open. So we're really pleased with this one as well, and it's really nice to see how they open up and showcase the coloration each year. So there's a few examples of some seedlings from a very young start to some that have aged out a little. So if you see any seedlings coming up out of the ground in your garden, why not pop them into a container? Always good to write down the grafted specimen name along with the date and year that you've put them into a container. Also handy to take it one further step and make notes of spring and fall colors, anything that sets them apart from the actual grafted specimen. Thanks so much for watching.